Uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
Are hereby sentenced to death by fire. Any last word? Only one.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show, Balenciaga. That clip that you just saw was the finale of American Horror Story, Coven, which was about witches and glorifying witches, and the witch was burning at the stake, and her last words were Balenciaga. Now, for those that don't know the story, I have to be very careful covering it here because free speech obviously is banned here on YouTube, but the censorship once again is getting tightened up. You could tell, some of the videos are getting demonetized. Some of the videos are getting 18-year-old plus on them, videos that are just talking about the occult, things that people should know about and should learn about that they don't want you to learn about. So I have to be careful talking about. But if you haven't heard the story about Balenciaga, Balenciaga is a fashion brand, if you want to call it that recently tweeted out promoting its newest line involving children and bondage. Because, there's nothing to be suspicious about here. Now, they come out and they apologize and they say they don't know how it got tweeted out. And we're supposed to believe that. If you've watched my channel over the years, and I've said it a million times, the normalization of children was the next thing that was going to happen, and now people are starting to see it. I was showing you how they were putting children in TV shows, having the children lecture the adults, how they were adulting the children. This is part of the New World Order's blueprint. Why? Because they're going to empower children who are completely brainwashed, who are 5 to 10 years old, as crazy as it sounds, to go up against people like us. And they're going to be complete mind-controlled zombies. And they're also going to do stuff like this with children, and they're going to do it out in the open. So you could see on the screen some of the photos that were disturbingly shown on their Twitter account. And again, they came out and apologized, but this is a brand that's supported by witches like Kim Kardashian, Nicole Kidman, all people I've exposed on this channel before, so no surprise there, Cardi B. And, they just show the kids and they show handcuffs on the table. And it just gets to a point where we say, how much of this are we supposed to take? And we shouldn't even be saying supposed to take, because 100 years ago, if somebody even took a photo like this, or, somebody dressed they would be gone. Not in jail, gone off the face of the earth. But we're living in a world now that's promoting the assault and attack on children. That's promoting all of these things that come at the core of the occult. That's what people don't realize. They're like, these people are just sick. They're Satanists. Okay? Not just because, people think it's just, I'm using the term, like saying like they're wicked, evil people. Well, yeah, they're wicked and evil, but they worship the devil. They practice black magic. The core of their rituals revolve around kids. This is what they do and who they are. Now, what's even more unreal about this tweet is that they had the balls to put in there this court document. And this court document, which is a Supreme Court, and I can't show you the document because it'll get automatically flagged for the words in it, because the algorithm reads words. Ooh, the big bad algorithm over here. It's Michael Williams, the United States petitioner versus Michael Williams. And you can see what it says. Justice Scalia delivered the opinion of the court. Goes on to say Title 18 United States Code criminalizes in certain specified circumstances the pandering or solicitation of child you-know-what videos online. This case presents the question whether the statute is overbroad under the First Amendment or impermissibly vague under the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment. And they place this document in with these photos. So anyone out there who is looking at it and they're like, oh boy, Republican or Christian people are overreaching, they're overreacting, it's just a teddy bear dressed in that. Well, they don't have that argument, because these sick scumbags actually had the gall to put this in the tweet. So they're flat out telling you about children and bondage, and then they go, oh, well, we're just, it's just an edgy brand. It's a clothing brand. Oh, it's an edgy brand. That's the excuse that they can get away with. It's amazing what they're getting away with, and we're allowing them to. This, to me, But if you look at it, it's just like they're seeing how far they can start pushing stuff. They're seeing what they can get away with and what they can't before the people rise up against it. Or against them, I should say. And we know that they have, full control of pretty much everything out there, and they're going full force now. At what point, though, do we say enough is enough of this crap? So you also get the mainstream media covering it, but of course saying, well, it's vague what they're showing, right? Newsweek, Valencia bondage claims and abuse claims. What do we know? What we don't know. Social media posts linking photo shoots by fashion label Balenciaga to child activity went viral this week, drawing attention for a number of right-leaning media outlets. Why do you have to be left or right to care about children? This, to me, boggles my mind. It just tells you that people who are liberal are sick in the head. They're demented beyond belief. If they see stuff like this and they think it's entertainment, if they see stuff like this and they don't see something wrong with it, it's the entire Democratic liberal party that endorses this type of garbage. And they're like, oh, it's more of right-leaning media outlets. How about everybody's in an uproar over it? What, are there no liberal people with kids? Because, you want to talk about liberal people with kids? Well, the majority of people in Hollywood, what I'm covering on the website about satanic ritual abuse, I'm covering, so people are educated on what they do in Hollywood, because their children are immediately put through trauma-based mind control. And that's how they, all these celebrities, their kids become famous, their grandkids become famous, they stay in control of their positions in Hollywood, in government, in the music industry. It's all a system of trauma-based mind control. That's really what it is. So those people we know don't care about their kids, but they were already abused themselves, and I don't feel any sympathy for them. Because even if you were abused, you should be able to look at right from wrong and know not to do that to a child. But let's continue on. A series of photos with children, one of which featured a toy bear wearing what appears to be bondage gear, was criticized on Twitter by users who called the ads disturbing and claimed the fashion label had quickly deleted this content in response. Disturbing is an understatement. Even just referencing any type of act with a child and, enter blank, blank, blank course, any type of reference it's more than disturbing, okay? It's more than disturbing. People should be prosecuted for even thinking this way, for even thinking about it, but they're not. This is the type of media crap that comes out, and they're like, well, it's right-wingers that are a little offended by it. I mean, who are the people? I mean, is every single person writing for every one of these things liberal? Of course they are. And that means that they all endorse this. They're all hive-minded freaks. Others also claim that another Balenciaga photo shoot included a legal document mentioning virtual child you-know-what among its props. And it did. And it says, however, the presentation of these claims was muddy, with comparisons involving photos from different Balenciaga shoots, accompanied by captions speculating about its response to the controversy. So that's straight up bullcrap, because it's all part of the same shoot. And then they came out and apologized about it after this article came out. Oh yeah, it's muddy. What's so muddy about it? You could literally see the documents in there. And Balenciaga's like, oh well, we're gonna do something about it. We got to find out who's behind it. Oh, you don't know who's behind it? Well, let's start with who's the head of your marketing, right? You don't know who's behind your photo shoot at your billion-dollar company that has people like Kim Kardashian on the payroll. You don't know who's behind it. So somebody just went, they were like, I'm going to take pictures today, the intern. Well, nobody's looking, and I'm going to put them on Twitter. Oh, you had access to the Twitter account too, conveniently. Oh, okay, nobody greenlit it. Nobody's responsible, right? This is the typical hive mind, liberal mindset, and then the people out there just believe it. They're like, yeah, nobody knew about it. They don't think, they don't ask questions, they just continue walking around like zombies. As if, it's possible for somebody at a company like this to get onto the access to the Twitter account to post something like this. Not to mention, there was a photo shoot. I'm sure it was an expensive photo shoot. It's not like it was just some random tweet, which still wouldn't be an excuse. There was a photo shoot by it, so you don't know who your photographer is at Balenciaga? Probably making a couple $1 million a year. Probably taking a lot of photos that aren't seen. to the public, because that's what a lot of these photographers do. I've covered that in the past. These famous photographers that end up going to Bohemian Grove and end up going to these, all these secret meetings. And they're like, oh yeah, just a famous photographer's there. Oh, right. And the famous photographer's the one who's taking photos, and protected completely by the government because he's got photos of the acts being done, because these sick freaks like to watch their acts, their deviant, disgusting acts. So they say Balenciaga publicized the new joint campaign with Adidas, shot by Chris Maggio. The label also released the Balenciaga Objects collection, accompanied by a campaign titled Balenciaga Gift Shop. So they're immediately deflecting on what's being posted here. And the fact of the matter is, the government should step in and do something about it. I mean, we see the government stepping in, censoring free speech, don't we? Oh, but this type of speech is acceptable. Well, we know why. And that's why I do what I do on this channel, so people realize that this is spiritual warfare. And what people miss about this is, the Bible makes reference to what these people do to children, and how they harm children, and they sacrifice children. The Bible makes mention of it, but Christians don't seem to understand that. A lot of Christians just go to church and they're like, everything is wonderful in the world. Don't be so negative. Everything's great. And they live with their blindfolds on. And, they perish for a lack of knowledge, so to speak. Because then they're like, let their kids watch this. They let their kids participate in that. And they put blindfolds on. And then their kids turn wicked or turn away from God because they start to obsess with the things of this world. But if Christians were realizing what the enemy was doing, they'd be more prepared. And people are like, come on, man, you got to be more positive about this stuff. You got to preach positivity. You got to preach, that Jesus is love and all this stuff. Well, I know all that stuff. I'm aware. But look at the enemy and what the enemy's doing. Look how many children are being harmed by these absolute scumbags. And that's saying it lightly. I'd like to say something different, but, I don't need to get a flag or a strike, I should say, but I probably will. So they're claiming that the tweets, are muddy. We don't really know what the documentation says. This is Newsweek covering it, defending them. Every one of these media outlets just defends this type of behavior. And nobody who's liberal just goes, okay, this is going a little far. This is gross. They don't realize that this is the entire agenda of the liberal party, that they're going to normalize this stuff. That's why they're putting, these freaks in schools, these dudes in wigs who have criminal records, who have done stuff with children. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unreal. It makes me want to pull my hair out. And celebrities still endorse them, right? Kim Kardashian and Nicole Kidman. And people don't realize that they're all connected. They're all involved in this type of stuff. It's so easy to see if you just open your eyes to it. People don't want to open their eyes to it. I was talking to somebody about it recently, and they were completely asleep. And they're like, their response was, yeah, well, it's like people just want to turn away from it. It's too much for them to take in. Yeah, well, it's a lot for me to take in. Do I sound like I'm thrilled talking about this stuff? Do I sound like I'm going to have a mochaccino after, I'm done recording this, and I'm going to do jumping jacks, and I'm going to go have cupcakes and go to the park and have a great day and go see freaks walking around town who are wearing pentagrams on their shirts and smile at them and say, I love you, hey. No, that's not how I'm going to feel. But people just seem to shut themselves off from this stuff because it's too much to take in. And that's how they gain power over all of us, because it's just too much. Oh, well, it doesn't affect my day-to-day life. Yes, it does affect your day-to-day life. It affects the future of your children, your grandchildren, your niece, your nephew. If people only knew what was really going on, then they'd realize all these things that people like me have covered over the years, where there's the blood libel, there's all these things through history where witches were cast out. And this other group of people were cast out. And what do you think it was? They were cast out because people didn't like the way they dressed, people didn't like the size of their noses, so they were casting them out of countries? Because they were doing this stuff with children. That's why they were cast out. People weren't just going, hey, you know what? There's an old witch down the road. She got a witch hat. We don't know what she's up to, but let's get her. We got nothing better to do. We spent all our day laboring and working and making food back when, people didn't have free time because they were actually doing things that were important to survive. Yeah, they were just going around picking people. They were picking the people with the giant noses, the cheapskates, and they're going, let's run them out of the country because I don't like the way they look. These people have constantly been run out for a reason. Witches have been cast out for a reason, because this is the stuff they were caught doing. And now they're doing it through a different method. They're using mind control to convince people it should be acceptable, to convince people that it's normal. They're changing things like gender, all this insane crap, right? But in reality, if you look at what's going on, back in the day when they were doing this stuff, they were doing it in secret. Now they're doing it in the open. And they're trying to get you to accept it. And these freaks, these mentally depraved, brain-dead, hive-mind zombies think that this type of stuff is okay. They think this type of stuff is art. They think this type of stuff is funny. And they don't like kids. Right? They look at kids, oh goodness, the kids, the behavior, oh, I don't like kids. I've never seen anything like it. I see people who are just so negative towards kids now. I'm like, children are innocent. How could you feel that way? Oh, they cry and they scream. They're innocent. I mean, they're so innocent. And they're victimized by the occult still in today's world. But now, it's normalized and it's accepted. You can't make it up what's going on. I think my hair just turned white during this video. A reminder to check out the website. There's very likely that this video gets taken down. If you want to learn more about SRA and things like that over on the website, I'm posting over there so people could become informed. It's stuff that they won't really allow over here. I mean, I just put up a video about it, but it was just talking about secret societies, and I think it already got restricted or something. But, or maybe it didn't. I have to check. I thought I saw that it was restricted. But anyway, a lot of great information being shared over there. Lots of truths. It's $2.99 a month. It's the price of a bottle of water. It's worth it. You could be on there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, finding new information, learning stuff. There's a lot of stuff with the potion that people are talking about. I'm going to have some more videos over on the website about it. Can't talk about that here. Of course, the new flu thing that's out, the M.R.N.A. Okay? That's so imperative for them to have in bodies. So all that stuff's over on the website. I hope to see more people over there. And again, please make sure you sub to my backup channel if you haven't already. In the event I get a strike, for those of you that don't know how YouTube works, I won't be able to upload on this channel for 1 to 2 weeks. 1 week would be the first strike, 2 weeks would be the second, and 3 strikes would be a channel termination, which has happened to me about 30-something, 40-something times in the last couple of years. I'm not kidding. It's double digits. It's up there. I mean, I've had Fire Rises channels. I've had Call 2, 3, 4, 5, 75. I don't know. I don't know the exact number. I just know that there's been a lot, and everybody who has followed my work can attest to that. So make sure you sub to the backup channel if you like to listen to this content. I appreciate everyone being here. Hope you're doing well. Pray for these children. God bless all of you and your families.